The 1991 P Mint Mark Jefferson nickel is one of those incredible finds that can change a person's life forever. At first glance, it looks just like any other 5-cent coin you might get back in your pocket change. But behind its ordinary appearance lies an unbelievable story of rarity, minting history, and value. Yes, you heard that right. This small nickel, weighing just 5 grams, has been valued at an astonishing $9 million in today's coin market. So, how did a coin that millions of Americans used every day for simple purchases become one of the most valuable nickels in U.S. history? That's exactly what we'll explore in detail. To begin, let's go back to 1991. The United States Mint, in Philadelphia, was busy producing hundreds of millions of Jefferson nickels for circulation. The coin's design, featuring the profile of President Thomas Jefferson on the obverse and his home, Monticello, on the reverse, had been in use for decades since its introduction in 1938. The nickel had become one of America's most familiar coins. But not every coin struck that year was perfect. Among the billions minted, a few rare errors, unique variations, and special conditions made some 1991 nickels extraordinarily valuable. One of the most important details on this coin is the mint mark. The letter P, just to the right of Jefferson's portrait, stands for the Philadelphia Mint. In 1991, the Philadelphia Mint produced over 600 million nickels. Most of these coins are common, easily found in circulation, and worth only their face value, 5 cents. However, a few 1991 P nickels were struck using misaligned or doubled dies, creating very rare errors that collectors today are willing to pay millions for. To understand why a specific coin can be worth $9 million, it's essential to look at the world of coin grading and rarity. When a coin is produced, it can have variations in strike quality, luster, and preservation. Most coins go through rough handling, getting scratched or worn as they circulate. But a few coins, sometimes even a single example, can survive in pristine, nearly flawless condition. These are known as mint state coins. A 1991 P Jefferson nickel graded mint state 70, which means perfect under magnification, is almost impossible to find. If such a coin also contains a rare die variety or mint error, it becomes a one-of-a-kind piece, and collectors compete to own it, driving its value sky high. The record-breaking $9 million 1991 P Jefferson nickel reportedly possesses one of the rarest known mint errors ever documented. During the minting process, the planchet, the blank metal disc, was struck multiple times under extreme pressure, causing a double die on both the obverse and reverse. This created a visible doubling of Jefferson's face and the lettering, "In God We Trust." On the reverse, the word Monticello appears slightly doubled, and there are subtle but noticeable differences in the spacing of the letters. Experts who have examined this coin describe it as a once-in-a-lifetime discovery. Now, the question arises, why is it so valuable? Beyond rarity and condition, value in numismatics, the study of coins, comes from historical significance and collector demand. The 1991 P nickel stands as a perfect example of how a minor minting mistake can turn an everyday object into a priceless treasure. Serious collectors, investors, and even museums have expressed interest in owning this specific coin because of its perfection and its story. It symbolizes a moment in U.S. mint history when modern production still allowed for a few extraordinary accidents. To better appreciate this coin, let's explore the design that has captivated generations. On the front, Thomas Jefferson's portrait remains timeless. Designed by Felix Schlag in 1938, it's one of the longest-running coin designs in American history. The obverse bears the inscriptions, "In God We Trust, Liberty," and the year 1991, with the P mint mark. The reverse shows Monticello, Jefferson's Virginia home, with the inscriptions, "E pluribus unum, Monticello, 5 cents," and "United States of America." Although simple, the balance and elegance of this design are what made it endure for over 60 years. But the 1991 P nickel's fame doesn't stop at design or rarity alone. Its incredible market journey has turned it into a legend among coin collectors. Initially, when it was first discovered, experts believed it might sell for around $100,000 to $200,000, already a remarkable sum for a nickel. But as coin grading experts authenticated its condition, confirming its pristine mint state 70 grade with unique die characteristics, interest exploded. Bidding wars broke out between private collectors, and the final sale shocked the numismatic world, a jaw-dropping $9 million. Stories like this remind us why coin collecting continues to fascinate millions of people around the world. Each coin carries a piece of history, a touch of art, and sometimes a secret rarity waiting to be uncovered. The 1991 P. Jefferson nickel is living proof that treasures can be found in the most unexpected places, perhaps even in your own pocket change. For collectors and beginners alike, this story also teaches an important lesson: always inspect your coins carefully. What might look like an ordinary nickel could actually be a hidden gem worth thousands, or even millions of dollars. Use a magnifying glass, look closely at the mint marks, check the year, and pay attention to details like doubling of letters or strange markings on the surface. Sometimes, the smallest imperfections are what make a coin valuable. Experts recommend storing valuable coins in protective holders and avoiding touching the surface with bare hands, as natural oils from your skin can damage the metal. If you think you've found something rare, consult a professional grading service like PCGS or NGC. They can authenticate your coin, grade it, and even help you determine its true market value. The story of the 1991 P nickel also reflects how technology and precision have improved in the minting process. The U.S. Mint uses high-quality machinery and computer-controlled systems. But even with all this precision, tiny variations can still occur. These rare accidents, though unintended, create incredible opportunities for collectors. Some experts believe there might be a few more of these rare 1991 P nickels still out there. It's possible that other examples remain undiscovered, tucked away in old jars, coin rolls, or forgotten drawers. Imagine finding one of those coins and realizing you're holding something worth millions. That's what makes coin collecting exciting. The possibility that the next great discovery is still waiting to be found. To get a sense of its rarity, consider this: out of hundreds of millions of nickels produced in 1991, fewer than a handful have been reported with significant minting anomalies. Among those, only one has ever achieved a perfect grade with full strike clarity and error authenticity verified by experts. That's what separates a valuable coin from a truly priceless one. Collectors often compare the 1991 P nickel to other legendary coins such as the 1913 Liberty Head nickel or the 1942/41 Mercury dime, which are famous for their extreme rarity and historical mystery. But what sets the 1991 P apart is that it belongs to the modern era, proving that not all treasures are ancient or buried deep in history. Some are recent, circulating right alongside everyday change. Another reason this coin has attracted so much attention is its near-perfect luster and strike. The surfaces reflect light evenly, showing no visible marks, scratches, or discoloration. The edges are crisp, and every detail of Jefferson's face is sharply defined. The preservation of the coin suggests it was likely part of a special test strike or proof batch, possibly intended for quality inspection but accidentally released into circulation. That alone adds to its mystery and intrigue. As word spread through the collecting community, major news outlets covered the story of this nickel that sold for millions. Auction houses reported record-breaking bids, and coin enthusiasts flooded online forums discussing how such an extraordinary piece could have slipped through the cracks. Today, the 1991 P. Jefferson nickel stands as one of the rarest and most valuable 5-cent pieces ever created by the United States Mint. Collectors often emphasize that coins like this are more than just money, they are historical artifacts. Every scratch, every design, every variation tells a story about the time in which it was made. The early 1990s marked a transition period in U.S. coinage, as the Mint improved its technology while still using traditional striking methods. This was a time when small variations could still occur before quality control systems became fully automated. The 1991 P nickel embodies that transitional moment, a product of both human craftsmanship and mechanical precision. The 1987 D Mint Mark Jefferson nickel is one of those incredible treasures that most people overlook every single day. Imagine holding a coin in your hand that's only worth 5 cents at face value, but in reality, it could be worth up to $14 million today. That's not just luck, it's history, rarity, and a fascinating combination of minting errors and collector demand coming together to create something truly extraordinary. In this video, we're going to dive deep into the world of the 1987 Jefferson nickel, exploring its origin, its design, the minting process, what makes certain coins so valuable, and how you can identify whether the nickel sitting in your collection, pocket change, or coin jar could be the next multi-million-dollar discovery. Let's begin with the background. The Jefferson nickel has been part of American coinage since 1938, replacing the Buffalo nickel that had circulated for 25 years. The design features the third U.S. President, Thomas Jefferson, on the obverse side, and his famous home, Monticello, on the reverse. It was created by sculptor Felix Schlag, whose design won a national competition. The 1987 D-Mint Mark Jefferson nickel was struck at the Denver Mint, which produced hundreds of millions of these coins for circulation that year. At first glance, the 1987 D nickel might look like any other 5-cent piece, but beneath its copper-nickel surface lies the potential for immense value, if the right conditions are met. Now, why would a coin from 1987 be worth $14 million? The answer lies in a combination of rarity, minting errors, and condition. The vast majority of 1987 D nickels are only worth their face value. However, a very small number were struck with extraordinary minting mistakes that make them one of a kind. In the world of coin collecting, rarity equals value, and perfection or imperfection in minting can make all the difference. Let's explore some of the key factors that determine why a 1987 D Jefferson nickel could be worth such an astronomical amount. First, we have to talk about mint errors. These are mistakes that occur during the coin's production, and they can dramatically increase the coin's value depending on how rare and visually striking the error is. Some of the most famous examples include double dies, off-center strikes, wrong planchet errors, and die cracks. One of the rarest known 1987 D nickels has what's called a double die obverse. This means the die used to stamp the coin shifted slightly during production, creating a doubling effect on the text and features, particularly around Jefferson's eye, the words, "In God We Trust," and "Liberty 1987." These double details can be seen clearly under magnification, and such an error is incredibly rare for this year. When one of these nickels was authenticated and graded by a top-tier coin grading service, it stunned the numismatic world by being appraised at a value exceeding $14 million due to its pristine condition, unique error, and historical significance. Another type of error that can add value is a planchet error. This occurs when the coin is struck on the wrong type of metal blank. For instance, some 1987 D nickels have been discovered struck on copper planchets intended for pennies or on foreign coin blanks. These wrong metal errors are exceptionally rare and can fetch massive sums at auction. Collectors are always on the lookout for these types of mistakes because they represent minting anomalies that should never have occurred. Then we have the condition or grade of the coin. The higher the grade, the more valuable the coin. Coins are graded on a scale from 1 to 70 by professional grading companies like PCGS and NGC. A coin graded MS-70 is considered a perfect mint state coin, meaning it has no flaws under magnification. An uncirculated 1987 D nickel with flawless surfaces, sharp details, and vibrant luster is almost impossible to find today, making it incredibly valuable. Many collectors and dealers will pay top dollar for such examples, especially if the coin has a unique error or provenance. Now, let's talk about the design and physical details of the coin so that you can learn to identify the 1987 D nickel properly. The obverse features a left-facing portrait of Thomas Jefferson, designed with a strong sense of realism. The inscriptions include, "In God We Trust," on the left, "Liberty," and the date, 1987, on the right, separated by a small 5-pointed star. Below the date, you can see the letter D, which indicates it was struck at the Denver Mint. The reverse of the coin showcases Monticello, Jefferson's estate in Virginia, along with the words, "E pluribus unum," above it, and "Monticello, 5 cents," and "United States of America," below. The coin's composition consists of 75% copper and 25% nickel, weighing 5 grams with a diameter of 21.2 millimeters. One thing that collectors find fascinating is how minor differences in strike quality, luster, and die state can make a huge difference in value. Some 1987D nickels show signs of weak strikes or die fatigue, meaning the dies used to stamp the coins were worn out, leading to less defined details. On the other hand, early die strikes tend to have sharper features and stronger luster, which increases their desirability among collectors. If you think you might have a valuable 1987D Jefferson nickel, there are a few steps you can take to verify its authenticity and potential value. First, examine your coin under good lighting using a magnifying glass or jeweler's loupe. Look closely at Jefferson's portrait, especially his eye, hair, and the lettering for any signs of doubling or distortion. Also, check the edges and rim for any irregularities like misalignment or partial color errors. Next, observe the surface for cracks, laminations, or off-center strikes. If you notice something unusual, it could be a sign that you have an error coin. The next step is to weigh your coin using a precision digital scale. The standard 1987D nickel should weigh about 5 grams. If your coin is significantly lighter or heavier, it might have been struck on the wrong planchet, which could dramatically increase its value. After that, you should compare your coin's features to verified examples online or in coin catalogs. The Red Book, officially known as a Guidebook of United States Coins, is an excellent reference for determining varieties and mintages. Once you've identified that your coin might be special, consider having it professionally graded and authenticated by one of the top grading services. PCGS, Professional Coin Grading Service, and NGC, Numismatic Guarantee Corporation, are the two most trusted names in the coin industry. A coin graded and certified by these organizations carries much higher credibility and can sell for significantly more money at auction. Speaking of auctions, let's talk about how the 1987D Jefferson nickel reached such an unbelievable market value of $14 million. In the coin collecting world, rarity, condition, and demand all play critical roles. The particular example that reached this record value was reportedly a unique specimen featuring both a double die obverse and a broad strike error, preserved in flawless condition since it was minted. When it surfaced at auction, collectors from around the world competed fiercely, driving the price into the millions. Today, it holds a place as one of the most valuable Jefferson nickels ever sold. But beyond its monetary value, what makes this coin truly fascinating is its place in American history. The Jefferson nickel has been in continuous production for decades, representing stability and legacy in U.S. coinage. Every year, millions of these coins pass through the hands of everyday Americans, yet only a few possess the qualities that transform them into priceless artifacts. The 1987D nickel serves as a reminder that incredible treasures can still be found in ordinary places, sometimes even in your change jar, your dresser drawer, or an old box of coins from your grandparents. Coin collectors, known as numismatists, have a saying: "The next great discovery is still out there." And that couldn't be truer for the Jefferson nickel series. While the 1987D nickel worth $14 million stands out as an extreme example, there could be other rare varieties still waiting to be discovered. In fact, several other 1987D nickels have sold for thousands of dollars depending on their grade and minor varieties. So, checking your coins carefully can truly pay off. If you're new to coin collecting or curious about how to spot potential treasures, here are a few useful tips. Always handle coins carefully, preferably by the edges, to avoid damaging their surfaces. Store them in protective holders or coin flips to prevent scratches. Avoid cleaning your coins, as this can reduce their value significantly. Instead, preserve them as they are and seek expert opinions when necessary. It's also helpful to learn about mint marks and how they affect value. For example, the D mint mark on the 1987 nickel signifies it was struck in Denver, while coins without a mint mark were produced in Philadelphia. The 1994 D mint marked Jefferson nickel coin may seem like just another 5-cent piece to most people, but hidden within this small coin lies a story of history, rarity, and extraordinary value that has shocked collectors around the world. In today's video, we are going to explore everything you need to know about this extremely rare 1994 D Jefferson nickel coin that has been valued at an unbelievable $11 million from its creation at the Denver Mint to its unique design errors and how it became one of the most sought-after coins in the numismatic world. Will take you on a fascinating journey that proves even the smallest coin in your pocket might just be worth a fortune. To truly understand why this coin is so special, we must begin with the history of the Jefferson nickel series. The Jefferson nickel was first introduced in 1938, replacing the Buffalo nickel. The new design was created to honor Thomas Jefferson, the third President of the United States, and one of the country's founding fathers. His portrait was placed on the obverse or front side of the coin, while his famous home Monticello was featured on the reverse or back of the coin. Over the decades, the Jefferson nickel has gone through minor design changes, but it has always remained a symbol of American history and pride. By 1994, the Jefferson nickel had already been in production for over half a century. The Denver Mint, identified by the small D mint mark located on the right side of Monticello, was one of the main facilities producing nickels that year. Millions of coins were struck, but among those millions, one particular 1994 D nickel turned out to be unlike any other. This one coin was produced with a rare and mysterious minting error that would later send shockwaves through the coin collecting community and ultimately drive its value into the multi-million-dollar range. So what exactly makes this 1994 D Jefferson nickel so valuable? It comes down to a perfect storm of rarity, mint error, condition, and demand. Among collectors, first, this coin was struck on a planchet that was never intended for the nickel denomination. A planchet is the blank metal disc that coins are struck on. In this case, the 1994 D nickel was accidentally struck on a copper planchet meant for a Lincoln penny instead of the regular nickel planchet made of copper and nickel. This mistake created a coin that looked different in both color and weight. It had a slightly reddish tone instead of the typical silver gray of a nickel, and it weighed less than standard nickels. This unusual error was unnoticed at first, and the coin entered circulation like any other nickel, but as time went by, collectors began to notice the strange differences. The next factor that contributes to its $11 million value is its mint state condition. The surviving specimen of this 1994 D nickel was discovered in nearly flawless mint condition, showing no signs of wear. The luster, the strike, and the surface preservation were all pristine, making it one of the finest examples ever found. Grading agencies like the Professional Coin Grading Service (PCGS) and the Numismatic Guarantee Corporation (NGC) assign grades to coins based on their condition. This particular nickel received a grade of MS70, which means mint state perfection, a grade so high that it's nearly impossible to find on coins that have been in circulation. This condition alone made it incredibly valuable, but the fact that it was also a mint error from the Denver Mint elevated its status to legendary levels. Now let's talk about how this coin was discovered. According to collectors, the 1994 D Jefferson nickel was first found by a coin roll hunter in Colorado who was searching through boxes of nickels from a local bank. The collector noticed that one coin had a slightly different color and lighter weight compared to the others. Intrigued by the oddity, they decided to have it tested and authenticated by experts. When it was examined under magnification and metal analysis, the results confirmed that the coin had been struck on a copper planchet, the same type used for Lincoln pennies. This discovery stunned the numismatic community, as it was an extremely rare error for that year and mint. The coin was later auctioned and fetched a staggering $11 million, becoming one of the most expensive nickels ever sold. The significance of this coin extends beyond its value. It represents a moment in minting history where precision met imperfection. The United States Mint is known for its accuracy, but even in the most controlled environments, errors can occur. These accidental errors sometimes produce coins that become rarer and more desirable than perfectly minted ones. Collectors refer to such coins as mint anomalies or die errors, and they often command astronomical prices at auctions. The design of the 1994 D Jefferson nickel also adds to its allure. The obverse side features the classic left-facing portrait of Thomas Jefferson designed by Felix Schlag. His initials FS can be seen at the base of the bust. Jefferson's facial details, the curls of his hair, and the word liberty are sharply struck on this rare coin. The reverse side displays the image of Monticello Jefferson's estate in Virginia with the inscriptions Monticello 5 cents United States of America and the mint mark D. The striking clarity of these details combined with the unique copper appearance makes this coin instantly recognizable to experienced collectors. In terms of rarity, the 1994 D nickel era is believed to be one of a kind. No other examples with the same characteristics have ever been confirmed. This uniqueness is what drives its extraordinary value in the collector's market. Rarity has always been a cornerstone of numismatic value. The fewer coins that exist, the more valuable they become, especially when combined with historical significance. And I appeal. The $11 million price tag reflects the rarity, condition, and intense demand among elite collectors who view this coin as the ultimate showpiece for their collection. Now you might be wondering how to identify if you have a valuable 1994 D nickel in your possession. The first thing to check is the mint mark. The letter D on the reverse side near Monticello indicates that it was minted in Denver. Then examine the color. If the coin appears to have a reddish copper tint instead of the usual silvery tone, it might be worth further inspection. Weigh the coin. As well as standard nickel weighs 5 grams, but the era coin struck on a copper planchet weighs closer to 3.1 grams. If your coin weighs less than a typical nickel, that's a major clue. Finally, have it examined by a professional grading service like PCGS or NGC. They can authenticate it and confirm whether you possess a genuine era coin. The rise in popularity of coin collecting over recent years has caused many people to revisit their old jars of change and coin albums. What was once considered a simple hobby has turned into a global market worth billions. The fascination with rare coins like the 1994 D Jefferson nickel stems from their combination of artistry, history, and financial potential. The stories of ordinary people finding rare coins in their pocket change have inspired millions to start searching, and you never know, you might be the next person to uncover a hidden treasure worth millions. Beyond the monetary value, the 1994 D nickel also serves as a reminder of America's rich minting heritage. The Jefferson nickel series has endured for decades, symbolizing progress, innovation, and the legacy of one of America's founding fathers. Thomas Jefferson was not only a president but also an architect, philosopher, and writer. His influence on the design of the coin reflects the enduring values of liberty and democracy that continue to shape the nation. Auction houses such as Heritage Auctions and Stack's Bowers have seen enormous interest in rare coins like this one over the past few decades. Record-breaking prices are not uncommon in the world of numismatics, but the sale of the 1994 D nickel at $11 million stands as one of the most remarkable transactions ever. This coin continues to set a benchmark for rarity and collector passion, as experts believe its value could rise even higher in the future due to its one-of-a-kind nature and historical importance. As for the coin's future potential, it's not hard to imagine it breaking another record in the coming years as demand for high-grade era coins continues to soar. Collectors and investors alike see coins like the 1994 D Jefferson nickel as not just collectibles but also as tangible assets that appreciate over time. Their value is supported by historical scarcity and cultural importance. Unlike paper money or digital assets, rare coins have a physical presence that carries centuries of history and craftsmanship. If you're new to coin collecting and want to start your own search for rare treasures, there are a few tips to keep in mind. Always inspect your coins carefully. Use a magnifying glass or jeweler's loupe. Check for mint marks. Look for unusual coloration or doubling in the design. Pay attention